this guy, who's my partner for life.
Do you mind if I do something? It is called Tony and Ziva.
We start in about a month. We're going to be shooting it in Europe, which was a thing that we fought for with Michael. We really wanted the show to take place in Europe. It's working out, so
Just keep talking.
yeah. Don't worry, he just, he's got to meet his goals.
Yeah! Keep going. Sorry, you just keep going. I'm gonna just.
I'll wait.
Better get it funny.
So go ahead. So sorry, well, to actually see what happens on set, we'll be in the middle of a scene and I'll just go, what is he doing? And then he comes back and then I'm like, I have no idea where we're at. What's the line? So this is an insight into our relationship. Working relationship.
Well,
You said you really fought for shooting in Europe, yes.
Yes, we fought for the show to be done in Europe, and we have a little girl. Her name is Tali. That's our daughter, and so we're bringing her into the mix. She's going to be a part of the show.
She's probably how old now, then?
11.
Okay.
She's 11 years old, and so we are very much looking forward to doing this. It's something that we've talked about for a long time. What I love about going back to this woman is the idea of sort of exploring what 20 years and the passage of time has done to her with these experiences, what walking away from this agency, what becoming a mom is, dealing with PTSD, anxiety, all of that. I think that's going to be a fascinating exploration, and I can't wait to do it with Michael. After 10 hours.
What's enough for you guys? So what's a typical day for you guys? How many hours?
Please don't ask it. It's just
No, we used to do, by the way, we used to do 17-hour days. You know, sometimes you'd go into longer hours than that. But it just, you have to get the job done. It doesn't matter. Technically it's supposed to be 12 hours, but you always go over.
Sure.
And if you're very lucky on season, 20-something, maybe you're doing 12-hour days. But I don't think, maybe you get very, very lucky, you get a 10-hour day. But I think that's a very rare thing. Regarding those long days, I remember once we were shooting a fight sequence and we were going on like hour 17, maybe going 17, 18 or something like that. Very late, very tiring. And I was doing a fight sequence on top of a ship, and it was very cold. And so I'm about to, get in the car and go back home, and it's a long ride home. Like, it's a good hour to get back home. And I was concerned, well, what if I fall asleep in the car, and what if I do this? And Mark starts giving me water, like half an hour before I get in the car. He's like, just drink water, Coates, just keep drinking water. And I was like, what? Do I look dehydrated? What's going on? Why do you keep giving me water? So at one point, I just get in the car, and now I'm like 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the car, and I have to pee. So bad. And then I go, oh, that guy, that's why he gave me water. And then the next day he goes, wasn't it great to drive home wanting to pee so you can't fall asleep at the wheel? And I was like, oh, that's genius. And you know what? It's true. There's no way you can fall asleep if you have to pee. There is no way you can go to sleep if you have to pee. So I was exhausted, and I was like, I'm going to fall asleep. Oh, God, I have to pee. I'm going to fall asleep. I have to pee. Amazing. Wow.
Excuse me, I have to put a microphone on you. They're just going up your drastic. So.
And you get so used to it that you go.
It's fine. Do what you need to do, dude. Let's get out of here soon, right? It's not French hours. So the blood bag gets put on there, and Harmon knows, because of course Wiley, veteran, knows everything. And Sasha goes, what's going to happen? And they're like, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1 with our fingers, and then the blood bag's going to explode on the back of your head. And I go, but I'm standing here. And Sasha goes, but that's my head. Something's going to explode on my head. So we're, concerned. What happens is we're doing the scene, and Mark's back is to the effects guys. But the effects guys are looking at the guy who's going to detonate the bomb on the back of Sasha's head. And he's right in my eye, and he goes. And so right when he gets to one, I go. And then the bag explodes. So and I'm thinking in post, couldn't they have like moved up the dot a little bit, like maybe help me out in the edit?
If you watch that, you can see Michael fully like a half second before. As she's delivering her line, he's going.
I think it was probably harder to co-write the episode. I co-wrote it with Scott Williams. David McCallum, who we've known and loved for the past 20 years, and many of you have known and his work and loved him for the past 7 years. He passed away in September. It was during the writers and actors strike, and we went back to writing the show in October. So I started writing the episode with Scott about 2.5 weeks after David passed. And as we're sitting there remembering and mourning the loss of our friend, it was interesting to go through that process, but then also trying to create something for public consumption, something that other people can watch along with us and share in that grief journey and also celebrate the man. So it was a difficult thing to do emotionally. I'd say that writing or that performing it was much easier because once we got to set, and I'm surrounded by these incredible actors. I'm surrounded by our crew, our entire cast. Everyone was in on it together, and everyone brought their A game because we all knew what it meant to try and pay tribute to someone, a member of our family. So in that regard, it was wonderfully cathartic. But even though it was painful at times, it was wonderful to be able to celebrate. Who will give out the give slaps?
Give slaps. I think.
Holly.
I did.
Come on. You know that's gonna happen.
You've been like such a great friend. Also a deep individual. Like you're the kind of person that you can always have a really great conversation with. Not only do I have friends from the original sort of mothership, but since then people have come on and made the show, what it is today, and they're still a part of our family. So there's like a good vibe. There's like a good frequency there as far as energy and love and appreciation for the work.
And I'm going to say my favorite and my scariest are the same moment, and it was giving Mark Harmon mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Tell us.
My favorite scene. I think favorite moment is always really magical when you have multiple shows meet in one. So I like the crossovers were just hilarious between the takes. Every time they say cut, everyone's laughing their asses off, and you can tell that that's part of the magic. It's what happens in between the takes that when they say action carries into the energy of the character. So that the crossovers felt really great. One of my favorite moments is when Cote came back to NCIS and I got to my storyline intertwined with her arrival, and we got to see kindred spirits be on screen in so many ways. We got to have a little bit of a fight together, which was just amazing to be manhandled by Cote and Pablo. I mean, you put me in a lock, it was like we had a fake little fight. Who saw that episode, when Cote came back to the show? So it was just to see the strength of a character, which is that. So that was one of my favorite moments, to be able to, kind of be part of that her return was really awesome. Scariest will probably be, I do a lot of stunts, and one of the stunts was my motorcycle blew up in a garage. Anybody remembers that? I went home and then, the motorcycle, somebody put a bomb in my motorcycle and it blew up. Well, what a lot of our pirate people, just didn't really warn or told us about was the fact that in a garage, there's only 3 walls. And that if something blows up in there, it's only going out one way. Okay, it's going out the way that it doesn't have the door. So I'm supposed to walk out to the motorcycle, and the motorcycle is supposed to blow up. And they're like, oh, this is the safety line right here. You shouldn't get hit. There's cork and styrofoam blowing, da da da. But the explosion is real and all that. But anyways, the explosion was a little bigger than they had described it, and I think they surprised themselves at how much bigger the explosion was. I'm walking up to the garage, and it goes 3, 2, boom. The flame just wrapped inside the garage, and it just made its way over to me, and all I could smell is burnt hair. And I'm on the floor, and of course they haven't said cut, so I'm playing it. And I look back, and I put my gun out, and like, what does the gun when they say cut? And I'm like, I think I'm gonna burn my eyebrows off, and everybody rolls in and runs in. So that was a moment I was like, yeah, I think that was a little too close, and I don't know, the raptor under fire.